Well, hello, boys and girls. It's a real pleasure for me to see you again today. My name is Ian, and as you know, I'm been telling you the story of Joseph, and he's a very important guy. We have seen him go out to see his brothers, and the brothers who didn't like him, they decided that they would kill him. But then the oldest brother, he said, no, let's not do that. Let's put him in this pit, and we'll wait and see if some traders will come along, and we'll trade him. And that's exactly what they did. They were on the trade route to Egypt, and the Arabic traders came down from Syria, and they stopped them and they said to him, listen, we've got somebody who we'd like to trade, and they gave them money, and off they went with Joseph on their camels and in their caravan, and off they went to Egypt. Now our story today is about what happens when he gets there. Well, he got there and he was put on the auction block, and he was auctioned off to a very important gentleman. His name was Potiphar. And Potiphar was a friend of the king. He worked for the king. He worked for Pharaoh, the greatest name in all the world in those days. And he had a very important position. Because of that, he had many slaves. And he took Joseph into his house to be a slave. Now, Joseph worked real hard. Joseph never shirked any responsibility. And he worked real hard. And eventually Potiphar said to him, Joseph, you are such a good guy, and you work hard. I am going to make you the head of my household. And so Joseph took on the greater responsibility of looking after the household when Potiphar was doing his work with the king. And so he was working away, doing things, and one day Potiphar's wife, who was a very beautiful lady, but she had some bad thoughts. She decided that she would see if she could get Joseph to do something that her husband Potiphar wouldn't like. You see, boys and girls, that's a lesson for you and I. There are times when people will come to you and they'll want you to do things, and the thing you have to think about, is this right? Is this wrong? Is this something my dad or my mum would be proud of me if I did it? And if not, then you have to do what Joseph did. The end result will not be the same as Joseph, but let me tell you what happened to Joseph. He said, no, I will not do the thing that you wish me to do, because it would really upset my master Potiphar, and so therefore I will not. But she came to him again one day, trying to get him to do something that Potiphar would be displeased with. And once again, that's another lesson for you and I. When people start to want you to do things, they will continue to badger you and to call you down and try their best to get you to do stuff that you know is not right. But you have to be like Joseph and say, no, I will not. But you see, this time what happened was the Potiphar's wife decided that she would do something really drastic. So she grabbed a hold of Joseph's cloak and she put it away in a cupboard until Potiphar came home. Now when Potiphar came home, she made up a story that Joseph had done a really bad thing, and she said, I got a hold of his cloak, and right here it is, right here. Now being Potiphar's wife, Potiphar believed her, and he took Joseph and he said he was going to throw him in prison. And so that's exactly what he did. They threw him right in the prison, and it was the king's prison that he went into. This prison was a place where people who would do things against the king would be placed. And once again, Joseph languished in prison for a little while, but he always did as he was told. He always obeyed the demands of the warden and the masters in the prison. So much so that very eventually Joseph was given bigger responsibilities than you can imagine inside the prison. Well, he took on these responsibilities, and the thing that happened next was Pharaoh became displeased with two of his officers. One of the officers was the cupbearer, the chief cupbearer. The other officer was the chief baker. Well, they came into prison, and Joseph was placed in charge of them. And he looked after them. He made sure they did the things that were important for them to do in order to serve out that sentence that the king had given them. Well, one morning, Joseph went into their cell room, and he discovered that they were both really troubled. And he said to them, "Hey guys, what's wrong with you guys today?" And they said, "Well, we are really troubled because we both had dreams. Now, the dreams are different, but we just don't know what they mean." And Joseph said, "Well, if you will tell me your dream, my God will help us decide what these dreams mean." So the cupbearer was first. And he said, "Yeah, okay. So here's my dream. My dream is this. I was in the vineyard, and there was this beautiful vine plant, and it had 3 branches. And from the 3 branches grew beautiful leaves. And then all of a sudden there was flower, and then there was great big bunches of grapes. And I took those grapes and in both of my hands, and I said to myself, I am going to place the juice of these grapes in the king's cup. So I went and got the king's cup, and I took the grapes and I squeezed them into the king's cup and gave it to Pharaoh. And I found myself back in the palace. Well, that is quite a good story, isn't it? And so the baker, he was listening to the end result of the story, and he said to himself, oh, these dreams are pretty good. I will tell Joseph that my dream. Well, you know, boys and girls, he started to tell the dream. And because we're coming near the end of our little dissertation today, I'm not going to tell you the dream, because I want you to listen to the next episode, so then that when we meet together again, you will hear what happened and what the baker's dream was. And so for today, I want to say goodbye to you, and I want you to know that if there's anyone who tells you to do something that you do not want to do, you just make sure you say no. Goodbye. Until next time.